Hello guys, today we will be looking at the alternative future of the world. So, in Ukraine, well, a lot of stuff is happening. And well, Russia decides they're gonna invade Ukraine. They launch an invasion of Ukraine. It's like 2022 right now. They launch their invasion of Ukraine. And yeah, they start, and they get pretty far in, but then they stop because of NATO supplies. They try to go into here. They have some success, but that's about it. Russia's like, hey, give us what we occupy and we can have peace. Ukraine's like, no, we ain't gonna do that. And it's just a stalemate. Meanwhile, in Israel, well, the October 6th attack happens. And Hamas, not Palestine, launches a invasion into Israel. And then Israeli troops come in. And they go into the north. And this happens. Yeah. They also occupy all of this. So yeah, that's basically what's happening in the Middle East. We see Iran. We see the Yemeni civil war goes on. And it looks like the Houthis gonna win. Anyways. Let's go to America and see what happens with their elections. It's 2024 and elections happen. And they elect Donald Trump after 4 years of no Trump. Yeah, they basically re-elect Donald Trump. That happens. Then the Ukraine war, Trump stopped sanctions on Russia because the gas prices in Ukraine starting to just fold. They go past this river. Yeah, basically, Ukraine can't fight anymore. They've been putting a good fight against Russia, but I'm sorry to say this, but I doubt you're gonna be able to beat this. They start multiple invasions through Belarus, and it's looking like they go over here, they capture Odessa, and then Ukraine's coast falls. Russia promises this to Hungary. Hungary is excited. They say that they will reunite all Hungarian people. Yes, we all remember what happened the last time somebody tried to reunite all their people. But then Russia changes their mind. They don't give it to Hungary. That's what's gonna happen. Hungary's kinda mad, but they don't do anything. And yeah, we kinda just see Russia just starting to pick back up. We go into Israel. America's funding Israel more than ever. And the Gaza Strip falls. And they don't make any moves into the West Bank. The Syrian government falls. See what's that? The Syrian government falls, and then yeah, that happens. They claim this, but nothing really happens out of it. Then we see something happen. Ethiopia declares war on Eritrea. And this is because Eritrea has not been given, it's not giving Ethiopia access to the sea like they were promised. And Ethiopia is not dealing with it. So they invade. And this happens. They capture all of this land. And then it turns into a bit of a stalemate. Nothing really happens with it. It's just Ethiopian troops. They've done what they wanted to do, but Eritrea is not giving the land up. We see some Ethiopian troops go into Eritrea, but that's about it. Over here. Meanwhile, Somaliland. Let's just say they are now in the UN. Yep. Somaliland's in the UN. We see something happen. It's 2025. German elections happen and they elect the AFD, but that's not going to be important for now. Canadian elections happen. They re-elect or they elect the Liberals. I think it's Mike Carney that's running. Not sure. And then that happens. We have all this going on, but let's see. We see in East Africa, people, these nations, these 4 or 5, Uganda, Kenya, Rwanda, Burundi, and Tanzania, say enough is enough, and they want to form the East African Federation. So the founding members are these guys. And what they do is they form this nation. And yeah, it's going to be pretty important for the future of this thingy. And then yeah, so East African Federation is formed in, well, these 5 nations. Sudan wants to join, and so does the DRC, even Somalia. They have a bright future, I think. There's even a chance of Ethiopia. That happens, and they're unstoppable. They're probably going to be like the America of Africa. We see something happen. In Spain, the economy collapses. Most of the world doesn't notice, but Spain, they hit hard. In Catalonia, they declare independence. But that's not it. Galicia, it was Galicia. Yeah, these guys. No, it's too close of a color to them. Maybe like Galicia declares independence as this area is much closer to Portugal. They want to join Portugal. Portugal doesn't support them, but Spain's collapsing. We see the Basque country declare independence. And yeah, Spain has gotten themselves into something. We see them start fighting these governments, the rebels in Spain. They do good. They capture a lot of the land. But they're doing really bad against Catalonia. Catalonia is somehow doing decent against them. Barcelona is bigger than any of these others. And they're starting to send a lot of their troops to Catalonia instead of the others, so they get to get their own pushbacks. And they say they won't go any out of their land. And the Spanish government is deeply unpopular. They continue to fight with the Catalans, while the other 2 are just doing their own thing. Well, we see something happen. We see a group of people in the South. The South declares they are tired of the government and they want to form a new Spanish government, a republic. And the EU is just watching in fear as this happens. Like, it's scary for the EU. The Spanish Civil War is raging on. Unstable. Spain is unstable. Morocco looks like they're gonna invade. But that would get NATO into it. So, and NATO doesn't do anything. The US is refusing to help under Trump. And the others are having their own issues. They're dealing with what's happening here. And they're scared that Russia's gonna win. So it looks like they will. But let's take a break from the Spanish Civil War. It's the Republicans, monarchists, and let's just say somebody else will come in to shake up the Civil War. It'll be cool. It'll be epic. Russia, they continue their own little thing. They're doing their thing. Russia is invading, and it's doing good. They've captured Kiev and all the surrounding areas. This part refuses to surrender. Supplies are almost non-existent, but the people are fighting. And yeah, the Ukraine war is kind of going into another installment. Okay. Let's go over here to here. Nothing happens over here. But we see something happen in Venezuela. Venezuela sees a coup. And they turn democratic. The Democrats are tired, and a revolution, the coup happens. And Venezuela is now a democracy. I don't like that color. How do I find a good one? Okay, yeah, I like that. You will like what they should be. And yeah, let's go back to the main event that the world is watching. And the Spanish are screwed. Madrid's almost going to be captured. However, in the north, we see something interesting happen. Two factions rise up. There's already two factions. There's communists over here in Leon, and the other one over here. They don't really fight with them, and they promise that they don't want to fight with them. And then we see in here, well, we see Madrid fall under a new government, the fascist or nationalists. They're actually just nationalists, but yeah. The old Spanish government has like nobody wants to fight. Valencia, they're under the Southern Spanish. We see most of their fighting, most of these forces fight with them, with the fascists. Well, the fascists can keep Madrid. Madrid might already be captured by them, but we're just gonna say that it isn't. The fascists meet with the communists and they decide to not fight yet. They decide that they want to. They decide they're gonna split. The north. Nobody really stops them, and everybody is not happy. No, they ain't happy. They kind of just form. Then the UN finally gets involved, and they're like, yeah, stalemate now. Well, we will do something. We see in southern Spain, Granada, and that's about as much as the regional movement. And yeah, the fascist, there's Republicans, separatists, and the monarchists are gone. We see something happen. North Korea And China see a split. Kim Jong-un goes to China. But then Xi Jinping and Kim Jong-un get in an argument over something. What it is, you can choose for yourself. But now China and North Korea are not friends. Yeah, that happens. We finally see the three who started it. They gain independence. They're officially recognized by all Spanish governments. So I'll see you whenever I'm done with the peace treaty. However, they must give up some land. And we are back. Those three gain independence. They all join the EU and NATO and all that. Besides Catalonia, they do their own thing. Somehow it's working for them, but I know these borders aren't correct, but do I look like I care? No. We see the fascists, they go on a huge storm down south. They go way down south. Like, everybody is scared of these guys. They just went from the weakest faction to probably the strongest. They have Valencia, Madrid, and well, I don't know any other Spanish cities besides Barcelona, but that's in the Catalonia. And then, yeah, we see the communists. They do their own little thing. They do this. We see some of these islands decide to side with them. Yeah, Spanish islands kind of just side with the commies. Looks like we might have a Taiwan type situation where the communists stay in these islands. Actually, no, I feel like they would want independence. The islands declare independence, and they basically are now independent. I don't know if I like that color. Maybe this will work better. Yeah, it works a lot better. Yeah, these islands gain independence. I don't know what they're called, but they gain independence. I think Las Palmas. Maybe that's those. But either way, they gain independence. We see the fascists. They gain some more power here, but then the communists come in. Also, I feel like they should be brighter. The communists, I don't like their color too much. Maybe something like this. I changed the color. We see a little bit of a interesting thing happen. Yeah, but the communists did occupy those islands for a few days. We see, I feel like the island needs a different color. Going to give them this, no, that looks like them. This will work. Yeah. The Democrats, the Republicans, I mean, they go south. They take that. Meanwhile, Morocco decides to buy these pieces of land. They're technically still occupied by the Spanish monarchy. They just take them. Nobody does anything. Even though it did seem like NATO would get involved if Morocco does anything. America actually decides to side with the Moroccans on this. Because then they get an ally in Africa, which they're already technically allies, I'd say. But yeah, Morocco takes those Spanish lands. Probably the most interesting thing. Morocco's done. It looks like they're about to invade them in a bit. But that's not. Let's take a detour to the Ukraine war. And once you have it, you can somehow break through and done this. Yeah, they've recaptured Kiev. Yeah, Ukraine has somehow done the impossible. They've also split up Russian troops over here. And yeah, Russia is just an embarrassment right now. Why is Russia doing so bad? Nobody knows. Yeah. It's like 2027. The Spanish Civil War has been going on for 2 years. A lot's happened in those 2 years outside of Spain. We see this happen. Yes. The Democrats make a huge push into the fast capturing both of their main cities. And then the communists are getting overran whenever American troops. Leon falls to the fascists whenever the fascists were not expecting the Republicans to fight, but they get rid of a lot of the fascists. They recapture Valencia, and the communists, they kind of just say, we're leaving this, and they get into this, they kind of just become a communist nation over here. They get into the UN. And now it's the Republicans versus the nationalists or fascists, whatever you want to call them. I don't think anybody's going to want to let the nationalists win. So they capture Valencia. They go up north. Then something weird happens. They're stopped by a brick wall. And what do they see? Like 200,000 Spanish troops. 2,000 nationalists. Just turned out, Catalonia is now, or the AFD in Germany, the people in power over here, is supplying the nationalist, the Eurosceptic Spanish. And we see these guys in France is like, in Britain are like, oh, heck no, not round two. But then nothing happens. And nothing happens, nobody leaves, NATO is kicked out, the nationalists are being pushed back. That was just some 1 week thing that happens every week that you don't really care about the next week. The nationalists are gonna lose, it looks like. Then another pushback happens from the nationalists. Oh wow, yay. And then that was their final push. The nationalists say, hey, what if we're in Lyon? You know what? The Republicans agree. So a German-supported nation is established in Lyon. So they go like, oh my god, I can't get it right. Okay. Yeah, they're gonna go over here. They're gonna go over here. They live on. And I was just this. Yeah. Nobody won the Spanish Civil War. All we know is the monarch is lost. There's still there's a lot of them in the rural. Never mind. They're in the lesser populated, less dense areas. Yeah. Let's go back to the Ukraine war. As that, we have to finish that, then we can finish the video. Ukraine is, well, making more pushbacks. What are they doing? How are they doing this good after almost losing? Nobody knows. It's kind of suspicious. Are there American troops? No, but people are theorizing it. Zelensky's more popular than ever. And it turns out it's because Vladimir Putin is severely unpopular at home. And yeah, this happens. The Ukrainians retake Crimea. And now Ukraine is reunited. Zelensky, and now with that embarrassment, Russia's screwed over. Why did my map do that? And yeah, Russia is completely kicked out of Ukraine. And Ukraine is looking, they are going, and Ukraine and Russia sign peace. And Vladimir Putin, well, the Kremlin, they're gonna have to deal with something. Meanwhile, Estonia changes their flag to a Nordic one and becomes basically a Nordic nation. And that's what happens. If you like this video, make sure to like, subscribe. I'm gonna go edit this. Yeah.